If you play video games, which if you're watching this you undoubtedly do, you've probably heard the name Warframe floating around on the internet. Whether it's been a friend talking about it or you've seen it on a store page, at one time or another you've probably heard of Warframe. But what is this game that everyone's talking about, but not at the same time? How many times do you see people piling into E3 to hear about the Warframe update? You don't, but at the same time you can ask someone about this game and they'll tell you they love it. Well, Warframe is a free-to-play action RPG where you take the role of a Tenno with your own Warframe with special abilities able to crush the enemies that walk in their path and cleanse the solar system. I guess they're not very clear with the lore, hard to describe. I don't feel like doing research on the lore. The game consists of going to planets and killing enemies inside with ease and completing certain tasks to get materials to craft new weapons and Warframes. It sounds simple, but it's the most fun that you could have. The game was made by Digital Extremes based in London, Canada, a little known developer who was last known for their game Dark Sector, until one day they decided to make a little game called Warframe. They released it into alpha and it was a mess. A messy tutorial, overwhelming menus, and unexplained systems. However, slowly over time they improved the game immensely. A better tutorial, fleshed out systems, an amazing community that acts like your best friend even if you don't know them. You can just ask about anyone that plays Warframe and they'll tell you it's the best free-to-play game out there right now. I don't fully believe that I'm the man for the job, but I want to do my best to explain to those who don't know why they should give Warframe a try for themselves. As I mentioned earlier, Warframe's community is amazing. What I said about them is true. The people that play Warframe are some of the nicest people that you will ever meet. It's as if all the nice people who play video games just got attracted to this game. Like some sort of good people magnet, I guess. Me and my friend met a guy in a mission while I was helping him relearn the game, and now we play with him whenever we get the chance. I met a guy that went out and checked the prices for an item I was trading him just so he didn't end up scamming me, and I checked the prices myself and I didn't get scammed. He really gave me a fair price for it. You could ask just about anyone to help you in Warframe and they'll end up doing it. I went into a mission looking for parts of a Prime Warframe, which is essentially an upgraded Warframe, just with better stats and stuff, and this guy literally helped me grind for that Prime Warframe, and it's crafting in the game right now as I record this. I sat in a player hub trying to trade people some stuff and just had some amazing fun banter with them while trying to wait for people to trade with me. Without the community, I don't know if Warframe would be as good and as fun as it is. They're some of the kindest and most generous people that I've ever seen play video games. The gameplay in Warframe is going to consist of a lot of going into missions, killing a bunch of enemies while completing some sort of objective, with them dropping items and mods for your weapons and Warframes, then extracting, then using those mods to improve the weapons and Warframes you currently have, and using those materials to make entirely new weapons and Warframes. It's a very simple gameplay loop, but it makes it fun as hell. You see, your Warframes are suits of armor that grant you amazing abilities, with each one having an entirely new set of abilities and each Warframe doing something completely different. Raising the dead enemies to fight for you, healing your allies, creating sword out of pure energy. Each Warframe, no matter how good or how bad, has something new to bring to the table. Hi, this is 4K Res from the future, and I'm an idiot, and I forgot to put this part in the script and in the video, so here we go. One of the greater things about Warframe is the movement. It has such an advanced movement style. I've never seen a game like this with the type of movement. You do bullet jumps and flips, and then you slide, and you can slide into a bullet jump, and you send yourself upwards, you can roll, you can do all sorts of stuff with this amazing movement system. You can run on walls, you can do all sorts of stuff. DE has truly accomplished probably the greatest movement system in any game that I've ever seen before. It's so advanced, and you can traverse the levels completely differently than you would the first time around. Alright, thank you for listening to my spiel. I just forgot to put this in the video. You are welcome. Now, the gameplay loop that I mentioned might sound repetitive, but there's a certain trick that Digital Extremes pulls off perfectly. Each game usually has a very short gameplay loop. The job of the developer is to make it so you don't even realize that you're doing the same thing over and over again, and that is what makes a game fun. For instance, in Mario Odyssey, all you're doing is collecting moons, but each moon has an entirely new challenge that you have to go through to get it. In Legend of Zelda, it's a lot of just exploring the world and killing the enemies, but each part of the world has something entirely new to bring to you. Subnautica is just a lot of swimming, scanning, and crafting, but it cancels that out with a nice hidden story inside with these amazing creatures that just leave you in awe. Division 2 is a lot of shooting guys, collecting loot off their body, and completing some sort of objective in a mission, but it makes these places, these shootout locations, entirely different and unique, and a lot of times really cool looking, which makes it so you don't even realize that's what you're doing a lot of the time. With Warframe, you can enter missions that you've done multiple times over with new weapons or Warframes, or with a weapon that you've upgraded that makes it 100 times easier. And with the gameplay made to make you overpowered, it makes it more fun than you could ever imagine. Let's pause for a moment. I want you to imagine this scenario. You work at a little developer called Digital Extremes. You get up one day and begin to get ready to go to work. Once you're all ready to go, you head to work. You're one of the first people in there, but once you walk in, you notice a piece of paper that's been taped to one of the windows from the outside. Once you get a closer look, you notice that the paper says, "Thank you." No other message, doesn't say who it's from, it just says, "Thank you." That is a real piece of paper that sits on a window for Digital Extremes. People love Digital Extremes because they care about the game that they make and the quality of it. They want the final product that comes out to be loved by all the players and take every single bit of feedback into account. They separate themselves from companies like Activision or EA by not being in it for the money. They had once made a system in the game which could be used with real money, but essentially acted as a slot machine, and noticed that one guy used it over and over again, giving them tons of money, and they took it out because of that. Any other company would have seen the numbers rising and left it in there and would try to make the player more reliant on that system, but not Digital Extremes. They want what's best for the player base, and if that wasn't the case, I don't think Warframe would be as good as it is. They're willing to get in cars with YouTubers and just talk about their game. They ask what other players want in a bundle and how much they should charge for it to some extent. Digital Extremes made Warframe the game that people love. Now, I've said a lot this video, but let me make one thing entirely clear. This game, this entire game, is completely free to play. You can access every bit of content in this game without spending a single dollar. Although you should spend some money because we need to support developers like this. You can access every weapon, every Warframe that comes out without spending any money. Some things are exclusive to the premium currency like color packs and Warframe and weapon skins, and some things you do have to buy with real money, not just the premium one. You buy it through Steam or whatever. But the players are not divided by how much money they're spending. And let's talk about that premium currency for a second. Platinum. Now, with most games like this, you can get that currency by spending money or completing certain feats in the game. However, you can get this currency without spending any money either. The reason being is that there's an entire economy in this game, entirely centered around prime, Warframe, and weapon parts along with some other things. There are things you can sell to other players in this game that go for hundreds, sometimes even thousands of platinum. And you can get this stuff to sell by just playing the game. Just about everything in this entire game can be acquired entirely for free. Now, you can just buy warframes and weapons with real money, but you still have to upgrade those warframes and weapons and mod them yourself, which cannot be done by spending money. So the game is in no way pay to win, because everyone can be on the same playing field whether or not they spent money on the game. In conclusion, Warframe is an amazing game, and if you haven't tried it already, you should, because it's incredibly fun, and it's free, so why not at least give it a try. This video isn't sponsored or associated with Digital Extremes at all, but I mean, why would it have been? Have you seen my view count recently? Warframe achieves something special that I think all game developers and publishers should take a look at and take notes from, because Digital Extremes knows what we the players want from our games, and they know how to make an amazing game and take feedback to make Warframe the best that it could possibly be.